They say the mind is a weapon, but few realize it also builds the cage. You can escape prisons made of stone, but not the one made of thought. You carry it everywhere, its walls shaped by fear, memory, and noise. You think you are the voice inside your head, but what if that voice is the real enemy? What if every ambition, every wound, every label you protect is just another bar in the cage? This is the story of a warrior who trained not to win battles, but to meet the mind that controlled him. He discovered that true terror isn't facing death, it's facing yourself without distraction. Because when all noise fades, you see what's left, and what's left is what you've been running from. This is the descent into the scariest level of mind you can't escape, where silence becomes your teacher and freedom is found in surrender. Chapter 1, The Cage You Can't See. He wakes before sunrise, not because he wants to, because the voice tells him to, the voice that says, grind harder, don't fall behind, they're already ahead of you. Ren calls it discipline, but it's not peace, it's pressure. He pours his coffee like a ritual, opens his laptop, and stares at the blue light that has replaced dawn. Notifications blink, messages, numbers, goals, each one a mirror reflecting the same silent command: do more. Outside, the city stirs like a restless animal. Cars, horns, footsteps, all rushing towards something unseen. He feels the same pull, that ache in the chest that says, if I stop, I disappear. He breathes fast, not from exertion, but from fear. Fear of being average, fear of not being enough, fear of silence. He mistakes motion for mastery, noise for meaning. Every minute is filled, every second optimized, a man efficient at running from himself. At the gym, his reflection in the mirror flexes with conviction, but beneath it, another reflection watches quietly, one that doesn't believe. He adds more weight, more reps, more pressure. The world cheers for progress, but progress without presence is just speed without direction. At work, his team praises him. You're a machine, Ren. He smiles, but something in that word machine stings. Machines don't feel, machines don't rest, machines don't live. When he gets home that night, the silence in his apartment feels heavier than noise. He turns on music, opens social media, scrolls through other people's victories like a man studying his own failures. Every success he sees adds another brick to the wall inside his head. Comparison, judgment, envy, the silent architecture of the mind's cage. He doesn't know it yet, but he's building a prison with invisible bars, made not of steel, but of thoughts. Each should and must and need to tightens the lock. Each label, successful, strong, disciplined, another chain disguised as armor. That night, as he lies in bed, the voice won't stop. It replays every mistake, every task left undone, every word he wishes he had said differently. The body rests, but the mind keeps running laps around a racetrack with no finish line. At 2 a.m., he stares at the ceiling and whispers to himself, "Why can't I turn it off?" The question lingers, raw, unanswered, dangerous, because if he turns it off, what's left? He closes his eyes, but sleep doesn't come. Only the sound of thought, endless, circular, hypnotic. The same voice that drives him by day now tortures him by night. He doesn't know it yet, but this restless hum beneath everything is not life. It's the cage you can't see. Tomorrow he will wake again before dawn. The alarm will ring, but he won't need it. The voice will be there first and whispering go, and he will obey. Not because he wants to win, but because he's terrified to stop. Yet deep beneath the noise, another sound begins to form, quieter than thought, older than fear, a silence waiting for him to notice it. It is the first crack in the cage. Chapter 2, the noise that pretends to be you every morning begins the same. Ren wakes up and the voice starts speaking, not out loud, but from everywhere inside. It tells him what to do, how to act, what to fear. It narrates his life as if he were the spectator, not the one living it. He never questioned it because the voice sounds like him. When he runs, it says, push harder. When he rests, it says, you're wasting time. When he wins, it whispers, don't get comfortable. And when he fails, it shouts, see, you're not enough. The mind, his greatest strength, has turned into a commentator that never stops speaking. And the more he listens, the less he feels alive. At first, he believes this is normal. Everyone has thoughts, right? But something about them feels off. They don't stop when he wants them to. They argue with themselves. They create fears that don't exist, and sometimes they speak in the voice of his old boss, his father, his competitors, voices from the past wearing the mask of his own. Ren begins to notice there's the life he's living, and then there's the story he's telling about it. And the story always makes him smaller. In traffic, he's angry. At home, he's restless. At work, he's anxious. No one around him sees it, because on the outside, he's calm. But inside, the noise never ends. Science calls it the default mode network, the brain's constant chatter when it's not focused on the present. Zen calls it monkey mind. The ancients simply called it illusion. The mind isn't cruel, it's protective. It's trying to keep him safe by predicting every threat, replaying every wound. But in doing so, it builds a fortress so tight that nothing new can enter. Ren begins journaling, hoping to untangle it. But the more he writes, the louder the thoughts become, spilling onto paper, fighting for dominance. He reads them back and realizes the voice in his head has opinions about everything, but no peace about anything. He starts noticing small moments between the noise, when he drinks tea and for a second doesn't think, when he hears wind move through trees and something inside him quiets, when he looks at his reflection and doesn't recognize the face, just eyes watching eyes. Those moments feel different. They feel real, but they're fragile. The moment he notices them, the voice returns. You're wasting time. What are you doing? One evening, Ren sits on his balcony as the city hums below. He watches cars crawl like glowing veins through the streets. He thinks, how can the world be so loud and so silent at the same time? The thought startles him, not because of what it means, but because it wasn't the voice that said it. It was him, the one behind the voice. For a second, the space between them widens. The voice still talks, but now it feels distant, like hearing someone speak from another room. He doesn't understand it yet, but he's glimpsed something ancient, the watcher behind thought. He closes his eyes, breathing slow. And for the first time, he feels the difference between the mind and the self. It lasts only a moment, but once felt, it can't be unfelt. The cage is still there. But now, he can hear its echo. Chapter 3, The Mirror of Fear. The next morning, Ren tries to meditate. He read somewhere that silence is strength, that warriors mastered stillness before they mastered combat. He sits cross-legged on the floor, closes his eyes, and breathes. But silence doesn't come, only noise. Thoughts attack him like arrows, deadlines, failures, regrets, faces he thought he'd forgotten. Rise from the dark corners of memory, each one carrying the same question: what are you doing with your life? His body stays still, but inside a storm brews. The mind doesn't like being watched. It panics when you try to observe it, because for the first time it feels your gaze instead of your obedience. Ren clenches his jaw. He tries to breathe deeper, count slower. The voice mocks him. This is pointless. You're wasting time. You're not built for this peace stuff. But beneath the noise, he feels something else. Fear. Not fear of the world, but fear of himself. He realizes how long it's been since he faced himself without distraction. No screens, no music, no goals to chase. Just him and the echo of his own mind. Minutes feel like hours, each one peeling back a new layer of discomfort. He sees how much of his life was driven by avoidance, how every achievement was a way to outrun insecurity, how his discipline was just fear wearing armor. He opens his eyes. The room is the same, still ordinary, but it feels like a battlefield. He stands pacing. His heart races though nothing is chasing him. He catches his reflection in the dark window, a man breathing heavily, eyes uncertain. It's strange. He's faced physical pain, rejection, and loss. But this, facing himself, feels worse because there's nowhere to run. He realizes why people drown in distractions, not because they're lazy, but because stillness shows them what they've buried. The next day, he tries again. He sets a timer for 10 minutes. At 5, he breaks. At 6, he swears. At 7, he laughs because the mind is louder than any city he's ever lived in. When the timer finally rings, he feels exhausted, as if he fought a war that no one saw. That night, lying in bed, he remembers the reflection in the window, the stranger looking back, and for the first time, he doesn't turn away. He whispers, "Who are you without the noise?" The question lands softly, but it doesn't echo. It sinks somewhere deep like a seed finding soil. He doesn't realize it yet, but the mind has heard it too, and it's afraid. Because questions like that don't just break silence. They break illusion. Chapter 4. The warrior who watches himself. Dawn arrived like a blade drawn slowly from its sheath, cold, bright, precise. Ren stood in the clearing as Ishiro circled him with the silent assessment of a hawk. The air was crisp, thin, and unforgiving. Even the wind seemed to move with intention here. Nothing wasted, nothing rushed. The previous days had stripped Ren naked from the inside out. He had seen his fear. He had faced his frustration. He had heard the ego's cravings, its desperate need to be enough. Now Ishiro would teach him the discipline that transforms awareness into mastery. Today, Ishiro said, you learn Zanshin. Ren straightened. He knew the word. He had read the definition, but he understood none of it, not yet. Ishiro placed a bamboo sword in Ren's hands. Zanshin is not the moment before action, he said. It is the mind that remains after action, awareness that does not break. Ren nodded, trying to appear ready. Ishiro saw through it instantly. You still try to perform, the master said. Zanshin begins when performance ends. He instructed Ren to raise the bamboo sword. Strike the tree in front of you. One clean motion, nothing more. Ren inhaled, stepped forward, and swung. The strike landed poorly. His grip slipped. His shoulders tightened at the moment of impact. The sword wavered as if unsure what it was meant to become. Ishiro pointed at Ren's body. Where was your mind? Ren hesitated. On striking well. And after the strike? I don't know. Ishiro nodded. That is the problem. Your awareness ends where your action begins. He stepped beside Ren. A true warrior is not the one who strikes the blow, but the one who remains aware after the blow lands. Ren exhaled. The lesson unsettled him. Ishiro guided him into position again. Watch your breath. Watch your grip. Watch the moment after you move. Observe yourself as if you were a stranger. Ren lifted the blade. Strike. This time Ren struck slower, more deliberate. He noticed the slight tremble in his wrist, the tension hiding in his jaw, the surge of adrenaline that spiked right after contact. He watched himself. He witnessed the reactions he normally drowned beneath impulse. Ishiro nodded. Better, again. Ren repeated the strike, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. With each repetition, he observed more. Micro flinches, stray thoughts, the brief flicker of pride when he struck well, the sting of self-judgment when he did not. It was like watching the mind in a mirror for the first time. Halfway through, Ishiro stopped him. You are learning to separate the observer and the actor, he said. This is Zanshin flow, awareness that wraps around action like a second skin. Ren's breath grew heavy but not frantic. For the first time in his life, he felt present during struggle, not escaping it, not analyzing it, simply experiencing it. Ishiro placed his hand on the bamboo sword. One day, fear will rise again, he said. Anger will rise. Doubt will rise. When they do not fight them. Watch them. A watched emotion loses its power. Ren lowered his gaze, the truth settling into him like a stone dropped into still water. Ishiro continued, voice steady as the mountain wind. When you can watch your fear rise and fall without moving with it, you become untouchable. Ren felt a shiver run through him, not of cold but recognition. This was the training he sought, the discipline behind ancient warriors and modern masters alike, the system that allowed a human to remain centered, even as life tried to pull them apart. Ishiro stepped back. Again. Ren raised the blade, but something was different now. He wasn't trying to strike well. He wasn't trying to impress. He wasn't trying to silence thoughts. He was watching himself, and in that watching, he felt the faint beginning of freedom. Chapter 5, The Storm of Thought. Night settles over the mountains like a cloak of ink. Inside the small wooden dojo, a single lantern glows. Ren sits cross-legged before it, back straight, eyes half closed. The monk's voice echoes in memory. You don't stop the storm. You stand still within it. He inhales, exhales. At first, the rhythm feels steady, but the mind does what it always does, moves. Images flash, old failures, future fears, moments stitched together like lightning through fog. His heartbeat quickens. The air thickens with invisible pressure. He wants to escape it, open his eyes, move, distract himself. But something deeper whispers, stay. So he stays. The thoughts rise higher. Some plead, others accuse. Each one a wave crashing against the fragile walls of awareness. You're wasting time. You'll never be free. You're broken. The storm builds. His shoulders tighten, his breath shortens. The body mirrors the battle within. Then somewhere between panic and surrender, he hears it. Not a sound, but an absence. A gap between thoughts. A breath untouched by fear. And in that instant, the entire storm slows. He realizes thoughts don't have power by themselves. Only the attention he gives them feeds their strength. He opens his eyes slightly. Rain taps against the paper walls. Every drop, a heartbeat every pause a reminder. He whispers, "I am not my thoughts." The words feel strange, like a truth rediscovered rather than learned. And for a few seconds, silence fills the space where chaos used to live. But the storm isn't gone, only quieter. It circles, waiting for his focus to slip. He feels it like wind brushing against the back of his neck. Still, he doesn't fight. He lets it come. He lets it pass. The lantern flame flickers once, then steadies, a mirror of the mind finding its balance. Ren closes his eyes again. He understands now. The goal was never to silence the storm, but to remember that the sky was never broken by it.